The finals, but today is going to be the finals for Miss Tourism Narok County. And joining me now on the set is, let me start from my extreme left. We have Sianto Sikaya, who's a former Miss Tourism Africa, and also the first Miss Tourism
Africa. Yes, I think after the hiatus, when Miss Tourism came back, we're the first group. So the first Miss Tourism Narok, and then now we moved on to finals for the country. I was in the top 5. Then we were sent to different competitions. So I represented Kenya in Miss Tourism World competition, and I got to be Miss Tourism Africa, meaning top 5 in the world.
So you were representing the whole of Africa?
Yes, now I've got the crown for Miss Tourism Africa to represent Africa in that year.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. We also have Stephanie Dikir, who's the outgoing Miss Tourism Narok County. Great to have you.
Thank you so much.
And we're good to come. And last but not least, we have the First Lady for Narok County, who is also the patron for Miss Tourism Narok County, Sarah Tunai. Karibu sana. Let's start first of all, and let me start with you, Sianto, in terms of Miss Tourism. What is Miss Tourism all about? Sometimes we hear these titles thrown around, and in the image and the mind of many, it's just, you know, a group of judges that sit together and decide who is the most beautiful lady, depending on what their idea of beauty is.
Okay, there are different types of modeling. You know, there's high fashion, that's runway, and that's very different from pageants. You know, runway is how good you look as a mannequin to carry like a designer's dress.
Right.
But then pageants is the person, because you're now not only just selling the dress, you're selling your ideas or a project that you want to do. It's about you as a person and what you represent. So Miss Tourism pageant is all about promoting tourism in the country, and now the fact that we're devolved, now it's going down to the county level. Okay. So every county now can produce their own Miss Tourism, and then we all meet together and do a national final. It's all about promoting tourism, and it has 6 pillars of which Miss Tourism stands for, which is environment, tourism, investment, hospitality, and culture. Yes, and then the 6th one is peace and unity, which is very important, and I think Miss Tourism stands for it a lot because it encourages cohesion between the counties. Because when the beauties come on top of the stage, they talk about the best things they have from their counties, and that makes people love their counties more, and even you get to learn about other people's counties, and I think it promotes that.
Okay, let me come to you, Sarah, and of course from Sianto's description, it seems like it's quite a huge role, given especially the 6 pillars that you've talked about that support that. And in terms of Narok County, you are the patron for Miss Tourism in Narok. Why do you think it's important to carry on with a pageant like this, especially looking at the figures? I see that they're going to spend 100 billion shillings in the finals in Nyamira County. Of course, to a Kenyan, they're thinking, why do we need to spend that amount of money?
Yeah, thank you very much, Gitonga. The Miss Tourism pageant is a very important one for our country because Kenya is one of the best destinations for a tourist. We are well endowed. We have the best wildlife. We have the best landscapes. We have culture, and our people are very hospitable. And particularly for Narok. Narok is the crown jewel of Kenya's tourism. You all know it's the premier destination for any tourist from all over the world. So the Miss Tourism pageant, being the patron, I ensure that we get the right girl who can be the torchbearer for our country for the next 1 year. The winner participates in any exhibitions that we have marketing our county, and she's a face of our county. And I would say that Narok County also, we are the Maasai are the only people who are still upholding their culture, and this attracts a lot of people from all over the world. So this pageant serves as one of the platforms for young people to embrace tourism. And I've attended many pageants, and you hear about attractions which you never heard of like as we are going to Vihiga, ordinarily you'd say there's nothing in Vihiga, but there's so many attractions in Vihiga, and to have a pageant of international standards, it's quite costly. I think a breakdown has been given of what it costs.
What it costs. Okay,
Yeah.
and you've talked about ensuring that we have the right person.
Yes.
What is the right person?
As Sianto had earlier explained, this girl is not just about looks. She has to have the right
Frame of mind.
frame of mind. She has to have knowledge about her county, because she's supposed to know all the attractions in that county and what is good in her county, and be able to present it. So when we look at the girls during auditions, we look at eloquence, we look at the way they can present themselves, and it's a very tough competition.
Okay. Stephanie, let me come to you. You're currently the outgoing Miss Tourism Narok County.
Yes.
And from the description I've had from the two ladies here, eloquence and knowing about the country, tell me something I don't know about Narok.
Something you don't know about Narok
Yes,
County.
that would attract me to come and visit Narok, apart from the Maasai.
Apart from the Maasai, we have wildlife in Narok County, Maasai Mara. So that's where you come to see all the big five. Yes, and we have the seventh wonder of the world, wild beast migration.
Migration of the
yes.
wildebeest.
uh,
Okay.
Yes.
But those, somebody would say, are things that pretty much are known. In fact, you'll find that a huge number of our tourists who come, especially to the Mara, mainly come, is it in August, for the migration?
Yes, just throughout August.
Yes. So now for a local, because the other thing that happens is that you'll find that most of these pageants seem to address the international market. Do you address locals? Do we do the inter-county, promotion of other counties?
Yes. Sometimes we have cultural shows that we host it. Narok Town, we have events. So domestic tourism is encouraged. Yeah.
Okay, let me come to you, Sianto, and during your time as Miss Tourism Africa, what would you say you achieved? What are the tangible things that you'd say you achieved?
Well, I could definitely say that before Miss Tourism and till now, I've grown too much. I'm not the same person. First of all, you get exposed to the outside world, and you have to represent Narok County, especially after winning that. So in representing Narok County, I could say that I've grown in terms of how knowledgeable I get, or if information comes from Narok County or the country, you get more interested and you can speak for it. So you become more confident, you can speak in front of people and all that. Actually got employed by Narok County government as a tourism coordination coordinator. So that means it's growth from that. You see, now from marketing Narok, you get the opportunity. So I think it has grown from just representing a Narok as an ambassador to being tangible in terms of me getting a job in Narok County and representing Narok even in further areas. And being exposed to traveling. I've traveled to different countries. As immediately I won, I traveled to London, Venezuela, South Africa, Malaysia.
Okay, that is fantastic.
That is amazing.
But that impacted you. But what tangible difference would you say you made as Miss Tourism Africa to the industry and tourism and to Kenya as a whole?
In terms of tangibility, in terms of the title, the fact is that Miss Tourism has made tourism, I think, visible. We have. Because even in terms of how people are coming to Kenya, it shows that from Miss Tourism exposure, we've got so many people to come around. For example, the fact that I traveled to New York and brought many people from New York to come and visit Kenya.
As
they
a
came
result
to
of your
Nairobi.
travel?
Yes, as a result of my travel. February, we had guests coming to Nairobi, and then they went down to Maasai Mara. They've never been to Africa. That's very tangible results to see that marketing actually is working, and advertising Kenya is working, and it's showing that we're increasing that. The part we like to see more is Kenyans visiting Kenya. You see, if people have this idea that Maasai Mara might be too expensive or something like that, but we've seen tour companies now coming up with packages that are very affordable, and that's what we want to also make tangible to see people
Okay, and Madam Sarah, I'll come to you, because that's one area that you find wanting. Even if we did just a sample right here, and I'll do this. This was not planned, so you may not see their faces, but let me just ask the cameraman there. Have you been to Maasai Mara? No. That's a no. Have you been to Maasai Mara? That's a no. Have you been to Maasai Mara? That's a no. The three that we have here, as evidence you can see, Maasai Mara seems to be a preserve of the foreigners. Is there any way that you can use this pageant to first of all localize and ensure that Kenyans love their own?
Yes, you're very right that many Kenyans don't really know what we have, or they might have a misconception that tourism is very expensive. But sometimes I look at the amount of money people spend in a bar on one night, and when you tell them to spend that money on traveling on a holiday, they find it hard. So it's a cultural thing that Kenyans have to break. One, to know that you can travel in your country, and there's so much to see. It's so amazing. Personally, I'm a hotelier, and I've worked in Savo, I've worked in the Mara itself, and there's so much to see. So I know Kenyans have this mentality that they think, oh, there's nothing. You know, you've seen the elephant, so what's the big deal? But once you get out, and I'm glad that many of the young upcoming Kenyans are adopting travel more. I just want to say that it's not expensive to travel. We have a lot of offers, especially during the low season. I know during the high season it can get expensive, but during the low season there's a lot of bargains.
But is it affordable to Mwananchi? Because I'm trying to think, there are times, I mean, in Kenya currently, if you read the papers, when we see a hippo, we see meat. As opposed to, you know, something that maybe the Westerners, if they come, they'd be like, oh, isn't that such a big... For us, we are seeing meat. This is... That's
what I'm saying, that Kenyans need to embrace tourism and to value our tourism, because this can be a major economic... it can have a lot of economic impact on our country, because the gains in tourism, you don't need rain for tourism to thrive. Right. And so it's a one quick win that Kenya has for its economy. Okay. And I've seen countries which don't have much. Like, for example, we say it's security, but I think it's the way we handle it. Because Israel still does big-time tourism, despite being one of the, I would say, the hotbeds of insecurity. So I think the Kenyan media, the Kenyan people, we need to be very patriotic about our tourism, because it can bring so much. Tourism is one aspect of the economy. It touches on everything else. When tourism is thriving, agriculture will benefit, the curio dealers will benefit, the tours will benefit.
Right, let me come to you, Stephanie, and since you're outgoing, you have been Miss Tourism Narok County now for what, is it a year?
Yes, a year.
Okay, and what are some of the challenges that you faced as Miss Tourism that you hope can be changed so that the incoming would be able to do a better job?
The challenges are really, they can't be changed really, because when you're crowned, others hate on you, they don't like you, they post on Facebook very, very negative things about you. You feel hurt because you're a human being, but for Miss Tourism, like, our patron is very, very supportive. Actually, even last time when I was going, I was invited to launch a book in India. It's written in Gujarati language. She was really supportive. She made sure I'm there. So if Miss Tourism can be given its own office, yes, and a budget for its own office, they can be able to do a lot.
A lot more. What is it that they would do if they had that office and the budget?
Like, in terms of environment is one of the pillars of tourism. Last time I launched my initiative called COPI, C-O-P-I, Clean Our Parks Initiative, and if I was funded more, I could have been able to make it, I want to make it long-term and sustainable. So if Miss Tourism Office could have its own budget, and our First Lady is our patron, you can be able to achieve more. You can be going to school to talk to these young girls. You can do the cleanup, market online and everything. Yes.
Okay, but with the opportunity and the space that you had, what is it that you achieved? What is it that you can say, this is what I did as Miss Tourism Narok County?
The launching of the cleanup process in Maasai Mara. We were cleaning towns around the park so that we don't get plastic paper bags flying to the park, and in fact really being a disadvantage to our wildlife. And also in terms of tourism, because it's one of the pillars, I was honored to go launch a book. The 46 million, they are 46 million Gujaratis in India, and these people are very prominent and key figures in the industry, so they have disposable income to come spend. So going to South Mumbai and launching a book about our wildlife in Kenya, it's markets in Kenya, and I believe that will bring revenue to Kenya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sianto, how can we change the thought towards Miss Tourism, the different counties and Miss Tourism Africa, so that we can, you've talked about one of the pillars being environment. Now we look at the floods that we had recently and the damage that they caused. We look at the state of our cities in terms of cleanliness. It is despicable. I mean, it's something that you'd not want. How can you take advantage of that post and position to influence how we think and change our environment?
It all comes down to how we as Kenyans think. I think we value, or our priorities are very different. You notice that this flooding has happened at specifically this time. Yeah, it has been raining way before, and the roads were still not flooding at that time. But you notice that drainages are full of plastic bottles and all this, and this causes too much of environmental hazards. In terms of our position and what we can do, we can only come up with projects that will inspire or influence people to care more about their environment. You see, if we could be able to even inspire or influence the assembly to come up with the bills of maybe not littering towns, especially even I tried Narok Town. We're still trying to influence the assembly to come up with a bill, and to influence that, the fact that you see when people travel a lot, you throw litter from the buses. That should be banned, and it's very annoying when you see it in person. If you're driving behind a bus and someone throws something, you feel annoyed. Even private vehicles, even a private vehicle, you feel mad. But sometimes you can be tempted as well to do the same thing, because there's no punitive measures in terms of that. We've seen Rwanda and how they've worked a lot on keeping their cleanliness. We can do that as well. If bills are passed, I think Kenyans act more if there are punitive measures. You know, if you put stern measures that this would happen if you guys do this, then that helps and it will work. Okay. Maybe if we can influence that from our position, it would be great.
Madam Sarah, one of Narok County is, of course, one of the most visited counties by tourists. But when you look at the economic situation of the locals, it is nothing compared to the amount of revenue it probably raises through just the gates, Maasai Mara. How can this pageant and this initiative that is being used by Miss Tourism be used to highlight that, so that the locals stop feeling like they're sidelined and don't benefit from the revenue?
Yeah, it's true. As a mother figure in the county, it's also my concern that in the middle of all these 5-star and a lot of opulence inside the park, when you step outside, you find a lot of
different world.
Contrast. I know there are initiatives which the county government has tried. There's a 19% from the revenue which goes to help the families, in terms of educating their children. But I would like to have the facilities inside the park, because they are, most of them are owned by maybe investors who come from far, to really give a thought to the ordinary people. I have a project called Eco Manyata, which is about the housing. It's about improving the living conditions of the local community, and these are the kind of projects where we can approach the facilities to have some money set aside for CSR, to help the community, to uplift the community, so that they can value the wildlife, because sometimes you have the community being affected by human wildlife conflict, the animals coming out and destroying or eating their livestock, and yet these are the custodians. So it is true that the facilities need to do more, and more needs to be done for the community so that they can appreciate and continue to protect this heritage for the rest of humanity and for Kenyans. Yeah.
Okay. Let me come to you, Stephanie, and you mentioned that part of the things that you faced when you are now crowned as Miss Tourism in Narok County is people just bad-mouthing, and they'll always do that. But again, when you're taking up a position like that, that is expected. Not everybody will like it. Not everybody will be your fan. And maybe from an inspirational point of view, there are many young girls who also look towards you as a role model. They would like to be you. What would you tell them in terms of how did you overcome that, and how would you encourage them?
Everyone has his or her own opinion. You should not base how you feel on how people talk about you. So you should, if they're about mouthing you, just do like this. Don't listen to them. You have to read it. But when you're if you're in this industry, when you're crowned the first time, you have to know there's a lot of people's expectations and responsibility that you have to step up, really, so that you can take this leadership point. So when they're about mouthing you and everything, don't listen to it.
Just ignore.
Yes.
Okay. Sianto, we live in a very tribal nation where there's a lot of tribal animosity, which of course we should be different. How can we take advantage of this, especially now that we have a devolved government? We even now have devolved Miss Tourisms, to have those who win the pageant, to bring these communities together?
One of the biggest partnerships we witnessed as Miss Tourism was the partnership between Miss Tourism and GloVEPA, I think Global Veterans and Peace Ambassadors. It crowns every lady who's given the responsibility to be ambassador of their county to be the peace ambassador for that county. And tribalism is one of the biggest challenges we face as Kenya, and I wish we'd change that situation, but slowly we'll get there. It's even evident from what we see from if an incident happens where someone else from like a different tribe gets crowned in a different county, they face.
Yes, I saw that. I saw some tweets that were going around with, I think it was somebody who's from a Kikuyu community, crowned as Miss, I'm not sure if it was Miss Tourism in Machakos.
There's a case in Machakos and Taita as well. It's such a sensitive matter, and it's not for the girls to blame. Most of them, I might be Maasai, but maybe I was married there, or if I'm from mixed race and I live there, and it's quite a challenge.
Does a Miss Tourism have to be from that particular community?
Yes, you have to be from that county.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one of the requirements.
Not the community. For instance, if you are born Maasai,
yes,
and you end up, say, in Siaya, and you live there.
If you've lived there for more than 10 years, you sort of qualify. But the other issue is, how will the people take it? Because in these two cases, it's the residents of the county. So I think, there's also the interest of the people to have, to feel a sense of their own, their own people taking charge. Like, for example, if I'm from Narok, it would be sensitive if you have someone else crowned if you're a different tribe. But it shouldn't matter somehow. I think this position should be used majorly.
So does that mean that we'd still have to run it on a tribal basis? Because again, that would be the purpose of trying to unite the country.
Well, not really. It shouldn't be run on a tribal purpose. It should be someone who's really passionate about that county. But
you need
at the
to
same
understand
time,
the culture of that country.
yes, you would need to really understand that. And this title should greatly help this situation and help it. When we meet as different counties and people are talking about their cultures, if you're from Narok County and you're speaking, you have to speak about the majority of the culture that's in Narok, and that's Maasai. So you have to know the culture of the people of Narok. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What about the language? Is that important? Because again, I would imagine in terms of promoting culture, I would identify with you if you can speak my language. Not for bad reasons, but just by the fact that I feel that yes, you actually, you are representing that county after all.
The most important thing is, after crowning, you get to do projects, and you do these projects with the communities. So it's also important to know that you can speak to these communities and have an understanding with each other. That if I'm bringing this to you, I should identify with you from the grassroots to top. It doesn't matter however, and you're able to communicate and you're able to convey your message to that person.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, Madam Sarah, let's talk about now the actual pageant that's going to be happening tonight. Where is it going to be taking place?
Yeah, tonight's pageant, our finals to pick the next Miss Tourism Narok County will take place at Maasai Teachers College from 6 p.m. today. We have 13 girls contesting, and we are really looking forward. We have great entertainment. I want to welcome everybody to Narok. We have Maasai warriors, we have Waire, and we have traditional dancers and a lot of comedians led by Ole Sankale. It's going to be a good event. I would like to welcome all Narok people to attend.
Okay. Stephanie, in terms of what to look forward to and how, when maybe you draw back the curtain of memory, how it happened when you were being crowned, what is there to look forward to?
Like right now, I'll be handing over today. Yes, at around 10 p.m. Oh no.
You will take it.
I thank Narok County government because they've already given me a job as a principal tourism officer. And I'm looking forward to working with the county government. And also, when I was doing Miss Tourism Narok County finals, I won South Rift Region, Miss Tourism South Rift Region. So I'll be going to an international competition to represent my country now. I'm looking forward for that. And the one that I'll be crowning today, Sianto started it. She was Miss Tourism Narok and then Africa. Miss Tourism Narok and then South Rift. Now I want to follow her footsteps. And our First Lady, let us give her credit. She's been really holding, you come to her and you want some help, you have this idea, she even adds more ideas to you and she holds your hand, what do you need? Really, if all the First Ladies would be like our First Lady, it's amazing. So
glowing tribute right there. Yes. But what for you, what is life after Miss Tourism? Now that you're handing over the crown today, what are you intending to do with your life after that?
I love fashion, and I would want to start a fashion line, and also this big dream, I'd like to have a line of my private jets.
Into that.
Your dreams are valid. Yeah. Sianto, in terms of what have you been up to after Miss Tourism Africa, and what impact did being Miss Tourism Africa have on your life today that you can say that, look, I reflect back and I'm glad I went through this, and what are you up to?
The opportunity as Miss Tourism Africa opened so many doors for me, including attending the New York Fashion Week last year in September. And attending that, I was able to, I designed a bead, a special bead for myself to wear during the show. And people really liked it. So I'm thinking that's my next project. I want to, because it's the women who make these beads. So if I can bring it up as a brand and sell it there, here, and everywhere else, I'd be able to empower the women, educate their women and their children, as well as improve our brand, sell it out there, and increase value in our ornaments. You see how people like diamonds? I'd like people to love beads like that.
Okay.
And I appreciate the fact that I got the opportunity from the start to the end. And you always know when something is yours and it's your time. And I thank God for that and the amazing people who have been able to inspire, from the patron, Sarah Tunai, and county government, as well as Kamunge, the main head of Miss Tourism, Kenya. She's been very supportive, and that's all.
Well, thank you very much, and maybe we'll close with you, Madam Sarah, in terms of what time the event starts, and thank you so much for coming.
So the event will start at 6 p.m. And like I said, all Narokians are welcome. I also want to thank Vera Beauty, the founders of this beauty pageant. Mrs. Kamunge is very passionate about Kenyan tourism, and it's growing bigger. I know she dreams of bringing Miss Tourism Africa to Kenya, and we'll work together. I also want to thank the county government of Narok, led by my dear husband, the governor, for all the support, because without their support, then we cannot do much. And I also want to thank the two ladies for being they've never let me down.
All right.
Yeah,
thank you very much. We appreciate it. Wish you all the best. And once she's crowned, hopefully we'll have her and hear what vision she has for the pageant. So that's where we're going to wind up Morning Express. This morning we'll leave you with a music break. But in case you are on KTN News, or rather KTN Home, this is where Morning Express ends for me. But for those of you on KTN News, we do have News Track coming up. And in case you're wondering what is that all about, KTN News is on DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 94, Zuku channel 14, and Bamba, and all free-to-air set-top boxes. So do join us on KTN News, where we have News Track coming up. But for now, a music break.
We sing for the girl, this will be them anthem. Alright, we're gonna tell them nobody me nerves, nobody me nerves. When I sing for the girl, them oh no, nobody me nerves. Me say, nobody me nerves, nobody me nerves. When I sing for the girl, them oh no, nobody me nerves. Hey, watch you man, them a line up. We fan club, them a join up. Hey, one by one, them a sign up. Me a fi big the woman, them right up. Hey. What any girl in a screamer? Ladies in a screamer. Scream out. Conscience. Worry we no worry, we no worry, we no worry about them. We sing for the girl. One sexy girl. Oh, alright. Worry we no worry, we no worry, we no worry about them. We sing for the girl. This will be them anthem. Alright, girl, go tell them nobody me nerves. Nobody me nerves. When I sing to the girl, them oh no, nobody me nerves. They say, nobody me nerves, nobody me nerves. When I sing to the girl, them oh no, nobody me nerves. Say me, tell them already and I'm telling them again. Them man I represent for the girl them. Big up the thugs, big up the gangster them. But we call that show now the girl is on them. No fi see the girl them anytime them hot and come out. Line up a north and a wine down a south. DJ a play big tune, ya shock out. From the girl them a wine and broke out. What me say? Worry we no worry, we no worry, we no worry about them. We sing for the girl, one sexy girl. Oh, alright. Worry we no worry, we no worry, we no worry about them. We sing for the girl, this will be them anthem. Alright, we're gonna tell them nobody me nerves, nobody me nerves. When I sing to the girl, them oh no, nobody me nerves. Me say, nobody me nerves, nobody me nerves. When I sing to the girl, them oh no, nobody me nerves. Hey, watch you man, them a line up. We fan club, them a join up. Hey, one by one, them a sign up. Me a fi big the woman, them right up. Yeah. What any girl in a screamer? Ladies in a screamer. Scream out. Conscience. Worry we no worry, we no worry, we no worry about them. We sing for the girl, one sexy girl. Oh, alright.
Nossa, nossa, assim você me mata. Ai, se eu te pego, ai, ai, se eu te pego, ai, delícia, delícia, assim você me mata. Ai, se eu te pego, ai, ai, se eu te pego, hein?